The Dominican president is the latest person to be adding his voice for an international mission to Haiti. Since the assassination of the Haitian president Jovenel Moïse, the Caribbean country has descended to a new level of chaos. The country's economy is in a free fall as competing gangs vie for control of the capital and the country. Canada has been approached to lead an international effort in Haiti, and the UN Ambassador Bob Rae did lead a team to Haiti late last week to see, at the very least, if the competing parties might come together to talk. Ambassador Bob Rae joins us right now. Ambassador, thank you for being here. You know, there is a lot to discuss, but I was wondering if first you might share how you are feeling tonight and reacting to the news of Jim Carr's death.
Well, I knew Jim well over many, many years before he was in politics at the federal level. I've known him for years in Winnipeg. A wonderfully decent guy, very thoughtful, one of those people who cared about the country enormously, cared about his community. Great family guys, those kids and everything. It's a very sad moment. I also had a chance to speak to him quite a bit during his challenge with leukemia. I had a particularly aggressive and difficult treatment that he went through, which was very tough, but he saw it through with enormous courage and great determination. Right up until the very end, he was still going and insisting on carrying on. But there will be many other aspects of his legacy. Above all, he was a very decent guy, good-humored, extremely principled, but not stiff about anything. He was a delightful company. And he had many, many friends in all political parties. He was a remarkable, great guy.
Well, there will be many words shared in the many days. His family says that there will be a public memorial to be announced at some point soon. With that, Ambassador Rae, I do want to move on to Haiti now, because you have just led a diplomatic mission to that country, looking to see if parties involved would be willing to talk and find a way forward. Who did you meet with?
Well, I met with a number of different groups within what I would call broadly civil society. Parliament is not sitting, not there. There's been no elections for 7 years. There's a huge political vacuum, which is one of the great problems that's facing the country from a governance standpoint. So we basically met with as many people as we could from all sides of the spectrum. Obviously, I met with the interim prime minister, who was named to that job at the very end of what turned out to be the end of the life of the president who was assassinated. And Mr. Henry is determined to do what he promised the president he would do, which is to carry on as he needed to. But he's also willing to talk to others, and we've talked to many others. The Montana group, younger people, human rights advocates, the business community. We covered a wide range of people and groups. Our ambassador there, Sébastien Carrière, does a terrific job. And we were really building on his earlier conversations and seeing how we could encourage the parties to put a little bit of water in their wine and try to move towards a transition that would then allow for the holding of an election, provided, of course, the other provision has to be dealing with the security situation. So there are a number of things that have to come together, and we're still working on that. I would say I didn't see any breakthroughs, but I did think that people are beginning to get the message more and more, because it's being delivered by a number of people who are very concerned that the Haitian political leadership has to put the worst kinds of partisanship aside, and obviously has to put corruption aside, and has to deal directly with each other and saying we've got to create stability and we've got to move to an election.
Now, the Haitian government, to my understanding, has asked for military intervention to deal with what you're talking about, the gangs that are right now running much of the country. What do you make of that proposal? Is that something that we might see down the pipes?
I think it's going to take it's certainly going to take a real strategic conversation, a precise conversation about where we find a consensus in Haitian society. I would say that nobody that I talk to including at this point the Prime Minister, when we encouraged a more detailed conversation of what anybody would have in mind in that sense, is nobody wants thousands of troops from anywhere else. We've done that twice now. We've had major interventions in the past. They have not left a lasting solution, and so why anybody would go back to that well a third time is beyond me. What we have to figure out is how can we assist Haitian society and the civil authority in Haiti to carry out the measures that are going to be required to take the power away from the gangs. Sanctions was part of it, and our sanctions approach received a huge vote of approval from everybody that we talked to. Mm-hmm. A lot of support for those sanctions. We've also increased our humanitarian assistance, our assistance on the cholera epidemic. We've put all that in there, and now we're working particularly on the security situation and on what a transition could look like, but we're not imposing the transition. That transition has to be decided by the Haitian people themselves. Canada has no favorite candidate for any political office in Haiti. We have no other agenda than to allow the Haitian people to govern themselves. Mm-hmm. And that's all we're doing.
Quickly running out of time here, Ambassador, but I do want to ask you, because there are Canadians, as soon as Antony Blinken was in Ottawa talking about Canada taking a lead with doing some type of exploration in Haiti, there are those that have expressed questions as to why Canada should be involved. And perhaps a better way to put that is, what is the fear if the international community does not get involved with Haiti?
Well, I think having a country dive into complete chaos is bad for the people. We have a duty to assist countries that are in this condition, and the consequences of not doing it is that things just go from bad to worse, and that means that the threat that of the security threat or the issue of civil chaos spreads elsewhere. The fact that people won't stay, people will go elsewhere. Certainly the neighboring country, the Dominican Republic, has been making it clear that this level of insecurity in their neighborhood is not something they can easily live with. And we have to understand that this is not a country that's far, far away. It's a few hundred miles off the Florida coast. We all need to think about how we can help and how we can provide the kind of assistance that will lead to a better future. We're also deeply involved in the Haitian community coming to Canada. We have huge diaspora in our country. We have large ones in the United States and elsewhere. There are no little foreign problems anymore. These are all very close to us, and we have to make them our own and figure out how to provide constructive ideas in providing a response to what is a critical situation.
Ambassador Rae, always appreciate the time. Thank you for this.
Thank you.